Well, here we are at Dunedin Community Garden, and I love this place. It's as far as being here during the pandemic, I think that it's been like a what do you call it? A little reprieve from the pandemic, because we can come here and be together, but be outside. We can still talk to our friends about things that we're interested in, like gardening, and who's having successes with their kale, and who's having successes with their tomatoes, and who's growing mountains of peas, and talk about, well, what did you do to get that result? And it's cool because we can stand on opposite sides of the bed, so we're like 6 feet apart quite easily, maybe even 8 feet, and we can talk as long as we want to and feel comfortable. It's really cool here. And I think it just gives people a mental break to be able to just relax and chill, you know? The way things just keep progressing, even when things aren't maybe the way we want them to be, we can still see that there's going to be change coming and look forward to that change for things to be better. And I think that a lot of people come here just to like forget all of the problems and be with their plants and watch them grow. See the bees and the butterflies and the birds. Here, I mean, I brought my family here for a picnic too. It was really nice. So we could be outside and be together and relax, and I love it here. My grandma, she'd be about 105 now, maybe, something like that. And but when I was a little girl, she told me about gardening. She always loved to garden, and one day we were out in the yard together, and she pulled a flower off of a plant, and she pulled it apart, a dead flower, you know, which most, like a little kid would be like, oh, that's a dead flower. But she pulled that flower apart and showed me that it had seeds down inside, and that seed would grow a whole new plant with all of its flowers of its own, you know. And I was just completely hooked on gardening ever since. And I still have that wonder, that feeling, and I still remember her sometimes when I'm out in the garden and I pull apart a marigold and see the seeds in it. I just love to do that. I don't know, it just makes me feel like so part of everything, so part of life, you know? So it's a good memory. Well, I know for me it's a really good feeling to come here and get kale or onions or tomatoes and take them home. I mean, I'm growing way more than we can use at a time, so I have learned how to blanch now. I never really had the time before when I was working. Now I can grow enough food that I can preserve it and save it for the summer when, you know, it's too hot to grow here. And it feels really cool. I like it. It feels good to go home with a big basket full of greens, and my husband's, he loves greens, so he's always excited. And I think another thing that's been fun about it is that because I have so much, I have been researching different ways to use the stuff that I grow. So right now I have lots and lots of onions, so I'm really curious about how to preserve them, make them last as long as possible. So it's a good feeling to be able to take care of my family, myself, you know. I take them over to my mom. I love taking fresh vegetables over to my mom, fresh tomatoes, and she really likes kale. So, yeah, it's really great.